Welcome, welcome, everyone. Get this over here. There we go. Hi. So yeah, this is how this goes. I was taking a rest day, and all of a sudden, the next thing I know was like, I should go to bed. You know what? I'm not really tired. I'm not really wanting to go to bed. I'll read. Next thing I know, I'm getting on the computer. So, I figured, since I was wanting to try to read yesterday, but I couldn't, I will do. I must be a ghost. I'm a ghost? Why am I a ghost? Hello, King! Yeah, so we're gonna be reading some more. I'm not sleeping. No, I was sleeping. I've been resting all day. I was resting all day. Oh, well, thank you. I didn't. I'll accept a compliment. Considering I've been on the couch all day. Oh, you just got off work? Nice. Oh, man. Okay, so we left off of, we just finished chapter 24 of Dino Rift. Oh, it's not up. Hold on. That's on me. Alright, should be good now. So even though I rested today, does not mean that I am fully rested. I am very much still tired. But I got it. I figured out eventually. Whenever I go between my Twitch streaming and my YouTube streaming, I have to completely change the profiles, not only for the login, but also a second layer of switching settings, the scene as well. And then so I forgot to do the second part. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna be now we're gonna be reading some more of Dino Rift. So let me remind myself how many chapters there are of this book. There are 50. They are kind of short chapters, which is nice, especially if you want to get a little bit in and then, have that nice halfway point kind of a thing. Okay, so we're on chapter 25. So we're halfway there. It looks like we're more than halfway, but I guess we're technically halfway. Wait, I love the part where we were raided and you explained that you had help from your friends. I forgot about that. I was delirious. It happens. Well, I have different profiles. It's there. I just forgot to switch over to it. That's all. Okay. So, welcome. Hello. So Dino Rift is by Derek Borne. I think it's a little too late. I don't think he'll be joining because I know that he, has a family and he has like decent sleep schedule. So, I mean, he might, but I kind of hope he's not, just because I would rather him be getting some rest. I definitely don't want to make him feel like he has to be here every time when I'm live. I appreciate the support, but I know a man needs sleep. And when I say men, I mean everybody, not just men. Because I know I need my sleep. Hello, Mississippi. Hello. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am on TikTok and my YouTube live. So if you're not already following me on YouTube, please do so. It will help me to reach my goal of 1,000 followers so I can start, making money from my content that I post sometimes. He always gives away the next parts, does he? Hello, Oklahoma City. Okay, so let's get started. As always, if you are new and you're, because we're going to be starting in chapter 25 and you feel lost, you can still listen to the live and hang out with us. But if you would like to get caught up, I do have all the previous chapters that I've read on my YouTube channel underneath the live sections, and my cat likes to interrupt sometimes, especially when he hears me talking to other people other than him. So I do have the previous chapters on my YouTube live that you can listen to, or you can buy a copy of the book yourself. It is in my Amazon storefront. You can get to my Amazon storefront through my link bio, link in the bio. Come here. I see you. I'm not burping today. If I do burps for money, keto, yes. Okay, so we are reading tonight, before I go to bed. So this is a bedtime story, essentially. So, as usual, I will be reading the last, paragraph or two of the previous chapter, before we continue on to the new chapter, just for those who keep following along, and they kind of remember where we're at. I'm falling asleep. Perfect. This is for you. I'm doing good. Okay. Apologies for Keto interrupting, but at the same time, he kind of makes his own rules, so I can't really control that. You just have to deal with it. All right. So we will start with the last section of the last chapter. The rift shrunk into itself and fizzled into nothingness. Its disappearance cut off the large reptile's roar. Noah finally stood up and helped his date onto her feet. Did that just happen? Just as confused as him, Abby placed her hands on her cheeks. Those were all dinosaurs, right? Yeah, Noah confirmed. This date's gonna go in the record books. Alright, now we're in chapter 25. Cameron marched on with undying energy in his legs. No change in the terrain, and no hidden screeches or growls would stop him from pursuing Vivian. As they trekked, they'd come across a blackberry bush, a new welcome snack for a quick break. Taking his hurried countenance into consideration, Emily Ann suggested that they eat most of them along the way. Holding a handful of the sweet tart berries in his left hand, he wiped humidity and sweat from his brow with the opposite. I will find you. Just please still be alive. Though he worried for his best friend's safety, conversation with Emily Ann helped keep his mind on other things. I still think you're wrong. EA finished off her bunch of berries. Smith was the best Doctor Who, hands down. I agree. Meh, he was okay. Oh, man. I was trying to like Cam. Meh, he was okay, Cam countered, keeping an eye on the overgrown riverbank for tripping hazards. Tennant was born for the role. I know it's always like Tennant and Smith. I get it, but I don't know. There's just something about Matt Smith's character that just makes me feel safe and warm. Tennant was born for the role. Or did you not watch all 3 of his seasons and all the specials? Oh, I've seen them. He even married another actor's daughter. That's hard to say. He even married another actor's daughter, who actually played the role of the doctor's daughter in the show. Riled up, Cam laughed at the fun topic. If that's not sheer awesomeness, I don't know what is. Keto agrees. That's all circumstantial. EA dipped her hand in the river to wash off berry juice. Smith had a quirky charm and really came into his own. I agree. Are you kidding? And Tennant didn't? For the first time in a little while, Cam glanced up to give her an almost offended glare. Besides precarious tree roots, you're stepping onto thin ice now. EA laughed at the direction their opinions took them. Agree to disagree, then. And if you want to get into companion... Keto, no, you're not jumping up there. And if you want to get into companions, other than the perfect romance of Amy and Rory, true. Martha was the best, hands down. I mean, I've heard people say that, but, I mean, Amy and Rory on top of that, can't get better than that, honestly. A grin formed on EA's face. Now that I will agree with. Not you too, EA. She was one of the smartest written characters and didn't do dumb things just to further the plot. Well, yeah, but Amy. See? Keto agrees. Can't disagree with the cat. Cam quieted down, taking Viv's cell phone out of his back pocket as he strolled. Since they'd used each other's phones the odd time, he unlocked it with no problems. The first thing to pop up was the picture they'd taken together. Viv had set it as her background. A silly grin snuck onto his face. Wonder how long she's liked me for. Are you more open to talking about what's going on between you two? EA matched his stride, sneaking a peep at the phone screen. Cute pic, by the way. Now, I'm not exactly keeping track. How long have they been in here? Because these cell phone batteries, they must have been fully charged, which is really unlikely considering it was, in the evening when they went into the Rift. I don't understand what phones are they using? Or do they bring battery backups? Do they have, the solar panel batteries connected to their phones? I don't understand. Okay, so, sorry. Immediately, his cheeks flushed. Thanks? She's something special. About to make a reply, he closed his mouth and nodded. In my humble opinion, if you could find a girl that can take down a giant millipede, as EA spoke, she raised an eyebrow while smirking, you need to lock that down. She was pretty amazing, wasn't she? Still nodding. Cam came to a complete stop. She is amazing. Saying it out loud for the first time, huh? Seeing the teen go through a romantic discovery kept her grinning. As annoying as you are, you're almost adorable when you're love-struck. He let out a nervous laugh. Yeah? Well, you're proficient at backhanded compliments. Ooh, deflection. By now, EA started to enjoy getting him going. Guess you're not entirely ready to talk about your princess. Her word choice caught him off guard. What did you just say? She lifted a finger and bobbed her head back and forth. Don't think just because I've been up ahead of you two that I can't hear what you say or call each other. Having someone else notice the signs and everything more than he did made Cam more insecure. Keto, no, my phone is up there. After all the years he and Viv had grown up together, now he finally clued in. Once he pocketed the phone, he ventured on. Should probably save the battery. Well, there we go. Okay. Taking his cue, EA decided not to push things and followed. As they continued in silence, The wind kicked up around them. Leaves flittered on the trees. Thinner branches swayed against their will. EA glanced to the sky behind her. Might be a storm blowing in. The thought of having to stop for cover and wait it out concerned him. No storm's gonna keep me from getting to Viv. Admiring his will, she patted him on the back. Not even a lightning strike? Row. That's what it says. It says row. A piercing shrill assaulted their ears. Cam almost tripped over a root. What in the name of Falcor was that? As gusts came at them even harder, EA noticed something odd. There's a pattern to the wind. It isn't constant. Every couple of seconds it stops, then picks up again. She gazed skyward. The size of a small plane, a large pterosaur hovered almost directly above them. If it had been nighttime, its mostly black body would have blended right in. Ooh, toothless? Toothless. Yellowish spots on not toothless. Yellowish spots on its wings mimicked modern-day moths, and the irregular spots on its underbelly were reminiscent of a giraffe's. The yellowish beak opened to let out another impressive cry. Every flap of its large, strong wings kicked up loose dust and grass bits around the humans. Its power rivaled modern-day helicopters. Ooh, that's intense. Hey, Best! We're reading Dino Rift. That thing's massive. Cameron arched his neck to take in the superb creature. Bet you it's the size of a fighter jet. Kinda weird how it's just staying in one spot like that. Like it's watching us. 'Cause it is. EA became more uneasy as she finished the sentence. My dad didn't mention much about flying dinosaurs. Hopefully it's just curious and not predatorial. Another screech erupted from the giant pterosaur as it ascended and carried on. The atmosphere around them returned to normal. Well, that was odd and slightly unsettling. Cam realized the dinosaur had taken off in the direction they were also heading. Wonder if we'll come across it again up ahead. Maybe. EA worked a berry seed from her teeth with her tongue and spit it out. When it comes to flying dinosaurs, I'd say be prepared to run for cover. Oh, thank you for the tiny talks. I appreciate it. Thank you for the gift. And that was the end of chapter 25. Okay. So that was a nice and, chill chapter, so nothing too stressful. Okay. We'll try to read a couple more chapters. I'm going to try to get to bed by midnight. Oh, you're going to bed? Good night. All right, chapter 26. Wait, what are you saying? Vivian struggled to follow along with the Soracorp ex-employee's explanation. I'm saying that isn't the first instance Rift energy has popped up out of nothing before. Concerned by what she'd told him, Sebastian slipped his soiled and tattered suit jacket off to relieve him of built-up body heat. Everyone thought I simply worked the business side of things, but I had some good friends in the TS, Time-Space, Science Department. Nandy trotted up and leaned against the teenager's side with a purring growl. Viv chuckled at the awesome ridiculousness of it all. Weird to think a group of people can have that designation, but here I am with a dinosaur rubbing against my leg like a big cat. Sebastian let a flicker of a smile slip out. About 2 years ago, a couple of our scientists reported a blip on the worldwide radar in Barcelona, Spain. We keep track of the TS energy. Another rift opened up, more like a ball of the energy popping to life for 10 seconds then disappearing. Casual about the topic, he swung his jacket over his back. As she ran her fingers down Nandy's deep blue crocodilian-style plaited back, Viv cocked her head. And the world didn't report on it? Bobbing his head side to side, Sebastian figured he'd lay everything out on the table. Soracor is a multi-trillion-dollar company. The figure put things into perspective for her. Right, you guys had it buried. Not quite hitting the mark word-wise, but that's putting it politely. he quipped with a slight touche to his tone. Since scorpions were no longer an imminent threat, he chucked himself over and pulled a small twig out of the waistline of his pants. A month later, another materialized in northern Australia, then Peru shortly after. One of the scorpion's abdomen legs hung from Nandy's row of teeth on the right side of his head. What are you doing? To be kind, Viv flicked it away with her fingers. Sounds like things started getting out of hand. We found ways to control the situations. Sebastian stared at the ground as more guilt presented itself. While we used money to fix things in ways I'm no longer proud of, we tasked our scientists with figuring out why they'd been occurring more and more. Any answers? He gazed at the treetops. That's still the multi-trillion-dollar question. At a loss for any kind of scientific reasoning, she huffed. It's like I'm trapped in some It's like I'm trapped in some crazy sci-fi story. Having made his way over to a fruit-bearing tree, he pulled a pear off a branch. At least the food here's good. Viv shook her head as two different things took place. Sebastian sunk his teeth into the perfect pear's juicy flesh. Still at her side, Nandy enjoyed being petted. Out of nowhere, she began glancing all over. Wait, maybe... Chewing on a morsel, he asked, You have a theory? Sci-fi story. Vivian realized her thought process would most likely sound foolish to someone else. What's the one thing that most time travel books and movies have in common with their laws of time? Somewhat amused, Sebastian played along. You talking like Back to the Future and Terminator type stuff? Sort of. I guess they always focus on what you do in the past affects the future, he reasoned, curious as to her thought process. Which never made sense to me, because if you alter the past to fix the future, then in the future you wouldn't exist or have the same life, and the universe should implode with how crazy it would become. Butterfly effect and all that. The other thing usually mentioned is that the present you should never come in contact with the past or even future you. Viv pointed out, letting her nerd brain work things out. If you come at it from an energy perspective... Ow, my head! Keep going. Sebastian appreciated hearing her ideas. Nothing out of the question at this point. After taking a moment to collect all of her thoughts, Viv focused. You and I, we came into the world at certain points in time. We exist with our own kind of time... We exist with our own kind of time energy, like a vibration of sorts. I can agree with that. A question she'd never fathomed to ask came out. So what happens if people or things of our present spend too much time in the past? On the same track, Sebastian added, likewise, if dinosaurs spend too much time in our present, the reasoning seemed to make some kind of bizarre sense. Two completely different time energies would be warring with each other. It's an unnatural balance. A line she'd heard in so many movies and read in books finally clicked on a whole new level. The fabric of space and time could theoretically be ripped apart. I wonder what that sounds like. Sebastian nodded, rift by rift. Hold on a sec. Dinosaurs in our time? Plural? Viv's gaze went from Nandy to the dark-haired man. How many dinosaurs are we talking? Since we started, I'd say probably a few thousand. Sebastian shook his head. Damn hindsight. Before taking another nibble, he turned the yellowish-green fruit in his hand. And I'm eating a pear from the past. Sebastian closed his eyes as he recalled what had been happening. In their present time. Stegosaurus steaks in Asia. Bartolone doesn't know how much damage he's causing. Who and what now? After taking one last generous bite, Sebastian dropped the fruit and slipped his jacket back on. Have you come across any other humans out here? Army-like? Viv remembered hearing about what Cam and EA had witnessed. Yesterday, aren't they your people? Not my people anymore, Sebastian countered, callous toward the company. It took him a moment to somewhat recognize where he was. If we head east, I think, there's an outpost where some of them bunk and keep dinosaurs before they're transported to our facilities. Arms crossed. Viv glared. I'd rather keep my distance from them. You don't understand. They have special communication devices that connect through to the present. Getting anxious, the excitement in his voice met a wall of hesitancy. Not being part of the company anymore also meant he'd become an enemy. What would happen if I show up there unannounced? Getting shot would add insult to injury and injury. If we can sneak in, we need to stay here, Viv rebutted, firm in her stance. Ready to leave, Sebastian stared at her in disbelief. Seriously? My friends could be minutes away from finding me. She glanced upstream with hope in her eyes, resolved to stand there until they arrived. She shook her head at Sharp. Leave if you want to. Thank you. Okay. About to laugh at her, he refrained. You've got to be joking, Vivian. For all you know, they could be another hour. Then I'll wait an hour, she shot back. And I may have given you my name, but don't you dare say it out loud. Exasperated, he threw his arms in the air. Is this some kind of teen drama thing you're pulling, or what? You want teen drama? Viv dropped to the ground and sat cross-legged, making sure to get the point across. I'm not moving from this spot. Nandy will keep me company and protect me. The Nundasuchus plopped its backside on the ground beside her like a dog and nudged its crocodilian head into her shoulder. Sebastian's temper reached a dangerous teetering point. Listen, Blondie. If you don't go and try to reach the other side, then we might actually die out here. She snorted. Should have thought of that before you threw me through the rift. Her retort made him clench his fists and narrow his gaze. Without warning, he marched over with a fire in his eyes. Sitting her ground, Viv threw her arms around Nandy's neck and brought its scaly head closer for defense. Sebastian brought his face 2 feet away from hers. Aiden and Olivia are counting on me to get back. And they are? My children, he spat out through clenched teeth. Viv rolled her eyes. At least they still have their mom. Sebastian raised his voice. Their mother cheated on me with her boss and is trying to drain me of everything she can. Unprepared to have divulged so much to the girl, he proceeded to tear up as it all came rushing to mind. As much as she still held some hatred for him, Viv had never been able to handle crying men. Being face to face with someone dealing with so much turmoil made her eyes brim with tears. I'm sorry. Once he realized he'd invaded her personal space, Sebastian stood up and backed away. We've all got our own crap to deal with. Running tense fingers through his hair, he turned his back on her in shame. Work consumed me and I stopped paying attention to her. Every mistake keeps haunting me. Viv kept silent. Sebastian pointed in the direction of the Soracor base. That outpost is our best shot. I get that you hate me, but if I leave you here alone and something bad happens, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. A few seconds dragged by until Vivian spoke up. Half an hour. Then we'll go. Whew, man. Ooh, certifications? Nice. I hope they're getting all the certifications. Yeah, I'm only going to read for, like those two. Well, it's almost midnight now. So I guess that will be my last chapter. Yeah, because I'm getting pretty tired now. And this is a little bit longer chapter. So I just wanted to get at least, 2 chapters in there. So that was fun. All right. So yeah, we just did chapter 24 or 25 and 26. So I'll read some more, hopefully in the next couple days. But I had to get my energy up from the photo shoot the other day. Alright, so I'll go ahead and end on YouTube. I'll go ahead and read. Yeah, I'll just post my Discord when I plan on reading the next chapters of this book.